The stars were quiet. The galaxy had returned to normal. The Galactic Empire believed the last war was over. Their enemies were gone, and the humans had disappeared. It had been 80 years since the humans fell silent. No signals, no ships, no survivors. The Empire had called it a necessary cleansing. Some called it genocide. But in the halls of power, they called it peace. Now, only the archives remembered Earth. Its ashes were buried deep in classified records. The public believed the humans died out like many other primitive species. The truth was hidden. Until the signal came, it was short, cold. It came from deep space, no known coordinates. Just one line whispered in ancient Terran code. To the Galactic Empire, we burn until nothing remains. At first it was ignored. The Empire received thousands of random signals, everyday ghost transmissions, scavenger chatter, religious nonsense. But this one didn't fade. It repeated every 7 hours. It's always the same line. No origin. No reply possible. Counselor Mavix of the High Communication Chamber read the message and laughed. Another trick, he said. Probably some dying cult or leftover scavenger AI. Nothing more. He deleted the report. But far away in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, young alien historian didn't laugh. His name was Kale. He belonged to the Eric species tall. Gray-skinned beings with 3 fingers and sharp minds. Kale worked in the Central Archive on Aronis Prime. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't rich. But he was curious, and that made him dangerous. Kale found the signal in a list of dismissed anomalies. He knew Terran code. His teacher had been one. Of the few aliens who admired human history, most didn't care. The humans were gone, and their memory was erased from schools, news, even art. But Kale had always asked the same question. What really happened to Earth? Now, this signal gave him a new question. What if they were not gone? He stayed late at the archive that night. The rain outside tapped against the glass walls. The city below shimmered with cold lights. Inside, the archive glowed dim with blue. Panels and floating records. Kale traced the signal backward. The Empire's tracking logs showed confusion. Every relay station it passed through gave a different path. Like the signal was bouncing through mirrors. But one thing was clear, it was coming from inside the galaxy. Not the void beyond. Someone had sent it. On purpose, he requested deeper access. The AI assistant blinked red. His file requires alpha-level clearance. He had beta. Kale paused. Then using an old backdoor code, he forced access. It was a trick his teacher had once shown him illegal, yes, but quiet. The forbidden file opened. It was a report from 80 years ago. Final War, Earth Sector. Code Operation Silence. The report was dry. Strategic terms, kill counts. No emotion, but then came the field logs. Actual voices from the battlefield. Kale leaned closer. We hit the Terran colonies in the Vermal Belt. They didn't beg, they didn't run, they just stared. Some smiled. The humans fired plasma shells made from their own broken stations. They built weapons from ruins. They used everything. Even their dead. I saw a human child carry a bomb into our command base. It didn't cry. It sang. We burned their cities. Burned our minds. Some soldiers went mad just listening to their music. The last log chilled Kale's blood. They are not gone. They are waiting. Somewhere in the dark, they are learning, adapting, becoming something else. The report ended with a simple note. Sector sealed. Earth erased.
Ow.
All records buried. No survivors confirmed. Memory protocol active. Kale sat in silence. Then, his terminal blinked. Incoming message. Unauthorized. He tried to stop it. Too late, the screen turned black. Then slowly white letters appeared. We remember you. The signal came from inside the archive. But that was impossible. Kale's heart pounded. He looked up at the floating records. One was glowing. A hidden file, older than the rest. He touched it. It opened. A video played. Grainy human face. Female, tired eyes. Dirty cheeks, she spoke slowly. You're seeing this, you are not the enemy. Not yet. But your empire, your masters. Lead. They came to our world in peace, and they took, burned, erased. But we did not die. We changed. We are the burned. We are coming. Kale jumped to his feet. His mind raced. The humans were alive. Somewhere, somehow, and they were angry. A week later, on the outer rim of Empire space, a mining outpost went dark. No alarms, no distress call, just a single message etched into the walls with melted metal. We burn until nothing remains. The Empire sent a patrol fleet. They found the outpost empty. Not destroyed. Vanished. Machines melted. Data wiped. No bodies. Only heat scars and strange symbols. A tech officer scanned the area. Something was wrong. He checked the ship's system. Logs, Captain. We have human code inside our core. The captain laughed. Possible. Then the engine shut down. The lights died. And a voice echoed in the darkness. You taught us war. Now learn what it made us. Back in the center of the galaxy, Counselor Mavix was furious. He ordered media silence. No news. No panic. But others had already seen the signs. Kale, now under surveillance, escaped the archive. He went underground, connecting with a secret network of scholars and old soldiers, those who remembered what the Empire had done. One of them showed him something. Map. On it, several dead systems were marked. All had gone silent in the last 6 months. All near the old human border, Kale asked, "Why is no one speaking about this?" The old soldier replied, "Because they think the fire is still far." Kale looked at the stars. He wasn't so sure. In the shadows between systems, a black ship floated. No signal, no name. Its surface was cracked and burned, but alive. Its hull shifted slowly, like breathing. Inside, no crew moved, only machines. Cold, silent. Then a light blinked. A signal sent to every Empire relay. Simple words. Your silence was taken as mercy. Burn. The probe entered Sol System alone. It was small, silent, made by the Empire's intelligence division. It's built to spy without being seen. It was designed to go where no ship dared and return with truth. The truth it found was not what anyone expected. There was no Earth not destroyed, not shattered, just gone. Where Earth had once been, there was now a black sun. It was cold. Wrong. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Around it, broken pieces of moons floated in perfect circles, frozen, untouched. By time, the probe scanned, again and again. No signs of war. No debris of cities, no radiation. It's only silence. And one thing more. A signal deep inside the black sun's rhythm. Not sound. Not words, just pulses. It's like code, old human code. The probe tried to translate it, succeeded. The code repeated the same sentence over and over. We remember Earth. We remember fire. We remember all of you. The probe sent the message back to the Empire, and then it shut down. Not destroyed, just erased. On Aronis Prime, Kale stared at the data stream. He had stolen access from a rebel contact. The probe's last recording now played on his personal screen. The black sun, the missing planet, the human code. Kale sat in silence. Chill crawled up his spine. Earth hadn't died. It had changed. He remembered what the old soldier told him. They didn't vanish. He went somewhere we can't follow. Now he understood. The humans had erased themselves, hidden in some place between space and death and now. They were coming back. But what were they now? A day later, a new fleet entered the edge of Sector Vermaltha, site of one of the bloodiest battles of the human purge. Dozens of dead worlds floated there, still marked as forbidden space. Patrol ships were told to avoid the sector. Too many. Unexplained disappearances. Too many ghosts. But the new fleet didn't come to avoid. They came to watch. Inside the flagship of the Empire's 9th Armada, Admiral Voss paced in silence. He had received a message from the Core Worlds Investigate. The human signal, destroy all who carry it. Voss didn't believe in ghosts. He had never seen a human. He thought it was all just old war propaganda, until now his sensor officer whispered, "Sir, you need to see this." Voss turned. On the display, in real time, one of the dead planets in the sector was lighting up. Fires, movement, structures forming from old wreckage. Shapes walking through the smoke-tall, armored. Slow, human shapes. Not alive, not machines. Something in between. Voss ordered scanners to full power. They refused. His ship's system showed. This message, burned eyes, watch. Then, black dot everything. Shut down all across the fleet, lights died. Weapons froze. Engines failed. Voss screamed for manual control. Too late. Outside, something massive moved through the black. Not a ship. A fortress. It looked like a moon, but it was alive. Its surface burned with red cracks. It sent no signal. But it opened. From its heart, hundreds of black ships poured out. Silent. No heat signatures, no radio, just moving death. The burned had returned. On a smaller rebel station near the border. Kale listened to reports from survivors. Empire fleets are vanishing. Stations melted from the inside. Ships rewritten mid-flight. But no one could see the enemy. No one knew what they were fighting. Only Kale guessed. He found an old data log written by a human engineer during the final days of Earth. It read, "They want to erase us. Then we erase ourselves, but not forever. We return stronger. We don't need flesh. We don't need light. We need only memory and fire." Kale whispered. They became the burned. His rebel contact, a former spy named Rowe, replied, "Not just that. They became something beyond war." Kale looked confused. "What do you mean, Rowe?" Showed him a captured message. It had been stolen from a hidden Imperial server. A video in it. A giant room full of floating machines. Human bodies. Some mechanical. Some organic stood in rows. In the center, a glowing figure sat on a throne of flame and wire. A woman, her face burned. Her voice smooth. "I am Pyra, the memory of Earth. I carry the grief of billions, and I will not rest until the stars remember who burned first." Admiral Voss was captured, but not killed. He woke up in a room made of black glass, his hands bound, no guards, just silence. Then Pyra appeared before him, not in flesh. In light, she stared at him, calm, cold. "You erased our home," she said. Voss replied, trembling, "I only followed orders." She nodded. "That is the excuse of cowards," Voss spat. "You're no better. You're just terrorists." Pyra smiled. "No," she said. "We are history given form. We are the price of silence. We are what your empire pretended would never return." She leaned closer. "We are your mirror," Voss screamed, as fire consumed him. Not real fire. Fire made of memory. He was left alive. But, mad, the Empire tried to hide the losses, but the burned didn't care about secrecy. They made sure every planet heard their message, across every screen, every station, every ship. Pyra's voice played. "We are the children of fire. You tried to bury us. Now we rise from the ashes of Earth. We are not here to conquer. We are here to end." 1 month later, 17 Empire worlds had gone dark. Not conquered, not even bombed. Just erased. No data, no remains. Just the same phrase left behind on every moon, every satellite, every broken orbit. We burn until nothing remains. Kale stood on a balcony of the rebel station. He stared at a hologram of Earth's old position. He whispered, "They're not just fighting the Empire." Rowe stood beside him. "Then what are they doing?" Replied, "They're rewriting the galaxy." The city burned for 2 days. Smoke rose to the sky of the trade planet Terran Vi, turning its blue clouds black. People tried to run. Some begged, some hid. But it didn't matter. The burned had arrived. They didn't come with warnings. They didn't send diplomats. They didn't make deals. They came in silence and left only fire behind. Empire patrol ships reached Terran late. Too late. The planet's atmosphere was still hot. No life signs. No survivors. Only one thing remained. A single structure in the center of the capital. A tower made of melted metal and ash. On its face, a message written in deep red letters. You taught us war. Now learn what it made us. The soldiers who landed were not ready. One touched the tower wall. It wasn't paint. It was burned into the steel like the heat came from inside. Then the wall spoke. A woman's voice, calm, echoing. No mercy, no masters. The wall exploded. 3 soldiers died instantly. The rest ran above. Black ship hovered. No weapons visible, but the Empire fleet pulled back anyway. They didn't know how to fight shadows on Aronis Prime. Counselor Mavic slammed his fist on the meeting table. "How are we losing?" shouted. The generals stayed quiet. The science minister spoke softly. "They don't fight like before. Their ships don't run on fuel. They run on memory. Rage. They evolve. Evolve." Mavic narrowed his eyes. "Yes," the minister replied. "Every time we attack, they adapt. They learn. Their weapons shift. Their ships change form. One ship even absorbed our laser. Turned it back. Twice as strong." The room went silent. "They're not just surviving," she said. "They're becoming—" Mavic sat down, his face pale. Then he whispered, "We didn't destroy them." The minister nodded. "We made them." Kale watched the footage in horror. He and Ro were hiding in a deep space station. It's once a mining hub, now a rebel safe house. Every day more systems went dark. The Empire blamed pirates. But everyone knew the truth. The burned were coming for everyone. "Why are they killing innocents?" Ro asked. "Not all of us burned their world," Kale replied to them. "No one is innocent. The Empire erased Earth. The galaxy forgot. No one spoke up. No one cared." Ro's voice cracked. "So that means we all die?" Kale didn't answer. Later that night, Kale received a message, not a standard one. This came through the same code. As the first Terran signal, a location, coordinates, and a single word, "Come." Ro warned him it could be a trap. Kale nodded. "I think it is. Then why go? Because if I don't, they'll never stop." Kale arrived at the coordinates in a small stealth pod. He expected darkness, silence. Instead, he saw something he could not explain. A human ship. Massive. Burned. Alive. It floated in orbit around a dead star. Its surface was black, but patterns glowed faintly underneath like veins. It looked like bone and metal fused together. Kale docked. The airlock opened on its own. No alarms, no soldiers, just a whisper in the air. "You may enter." Kale stepped into the ship. It was warm, too warm, like walking into a memory that's still. Hurt, the walls pulsed with energy. He walked for what felt like hours then. A door opened. Inside was a chamber, circular, empty, except for one figure, a woman, not human anymore. Her skin shimmered like fire trapped in glass. Her eyes were endless. She sat on a throne of wires, melted steel, and bones, Pyra, Kale whispered. She nodded. "You came," she said. Kale stepped forward. "Why me?" "Because you asked questions when others stayed blind." Kale frowned. "And if I don't help you, you leave and watch the galaxy die screaming." Kale looked into her eyes. "They say you have no mercy." "We don't," Pyra said. "Mercy is for the weak. For those who had a chance to stop the slaughter but didn't." Kale stepped closer. "Then what do you want?" She stood. Her body burned without smoke. "We want justice, but not with courts. Not with laws. With fire." Kale shook his head. "That's revenge." "No, revenge is small. Revenge is personal. We want remembrance." Suddenly the walls around them came alive. Screens lit up, millions of images. Earth, cities, children playing, music, art, forests, oceans. Then, fire, bombs, ships falling, humans screaming. Pyra, raised her hand. All images vanished. Everything you saw, she said, is gone, erased. Not just by war, but by silence. Your empire made our death a secret. Now we make our return loud. Kale stood in silence. Then he asked, Is there nothing left of your old humanity? Pyra smiled sadly. Only the part that remembers pain. Suddenly, alarms echoed in the ship. A new message came through. Empire fleets approaching. Kale looked to Pyra. Her eyes burned. No mercy. She whispered, outside, dozens of Empire ships came out of warp. They didn't see any threat, just one. Human vessel? Destroy it, the commander ordered. They fired, but the blasts stopped. Mid-dash space, the human ship absorbed the energy. Its skin shimmered. Then it responded. It changed. Its arms unfolded. Its mouth opened, not mechanical, biological. Living, it roared. Hundreds of black spikes shot out like lightning. 10. Empire ships exploded instantly. Others tried to run, but their engines failed. Their systems went black. Their own screens showed them a message. No mercy. No masters. Kale watched in silence. Then he whispered to Pyra, You don't need me. She looked at him. No. But we wanted you to see, so you could tell them. We gave them one chance. And then, Ara turned, we burn until nothing remains. In the cold, dark space beyond the Empire's core systems, signal traveled faster than light. It wasn't just data, it was a voice. Pyra's voice. The voice of what was once Earth debt, every Empire station, every government world, every screen, all. At once she spoke. Her tone was not angry. It was calm, controlled, terrifying. We sent no diplomats. You burned them. We offered no surrender. You buried it. You will hear the last voice of Earth. On merchant ships, soldiers stopped and stared. On mining planets, workers froze mid-task. On high councils, leaders felt their blood go cold. Pyra was everywhere, and there was no off switch. Kale sat in silence. Listening, he had returned to the rebel station with a warning. But it was already too late. Pyra had chosen to reveal herself. Not through war, through memory. Ro whispered, She's telling a story. Kale nodded. No, she's forcing them to remember. On the screens, images flickered. Earth before thee. Fall, blue skies, oceans, cities reaching into clouds, children playing under trees, artists painting on broken walls, old men laughing. On the moon, then. The sound changed, bombs, fires, Empire warships hovering over cities, drones shooting civilians, crying voices in languages long dead, and then silence. Pyra's voice returned. You told your people we died quickly, that Earth fell without a sound. We were weak. Forgotten, you lied, screamed. We burned, and we remember. On the core world Virelin, the Empress herself watched the broadcast in horror. She turned to her guards. Shut it down, she commanded. They tried. Every system refused. One by one, her personal devices shut off. A single message appeared on her screen. We gave you silence. You mistook it for victory. The Empress stared, her hands shaking. Where is she broadcasting from? Her generals answered, We don't know. Meanwhile, Kale discovered something no one expected. The voice wasn't coming from a ship. Not a satellite. Not even a base. It was coming from inside stars, solar data confirmed. Over 43 stars were pulsing with Pyra's code. Each pulse carried her voice, her memory, her warning. She's living inside suns, Kale whispered. She's not just a mind anymore. Ro looked terrified. Then what is she? Kale answered. She's a weapon made from grief. Back at the Empire's High Archive, an ancient AI named Orlex was activated. It was built during the early wars with Earth, hidden and forgotten. Its voice was slow, deep. It reviewed the signal, then gave one sentence. She is Earth's final defense system. She is not artificial. She is the planet's last living will. On the outer worlds, people started to listen. Some feared, but some understood. Aliens, who had lost family in other imperial wars, remembered worlds burned for speaking out. Civilizations silenced for resisting, and now someone had returned, not just to fight but to remind. On the mining world Thasser 3, workers turned off their Empire flags. Reach smugglers stopped moving goods for the Empire. Some whispered, "Let the burned pass." Maybe they are right. Pyrrha's voice continued for 6 days. She told the story of Earth, not as a planet but as a soul betrayed. We gave you songs, you gave us silence. We offered science, you dropped bombs. We asked for peace, you gave us fire. Now fire is all we have left. Then the transmission changed. It wasn't just her voice anymore. Hundreds of voices began to speak. Men, women, children, all human. All real. Kale listened. One said, "My name was Isla. I died holding my baby." Another said, "I fought on Europa's ice. My blood froze before I surrendered." And then a child's voice. They said we were animals, but we had names. My name was Sami. One by one, Erstead spoke. Billions of names. Burned into memory, in panic. The Empire did the only thing it could. They launched the Echo Fleet, their last and greatest force. Hundreds of advanced ships, equipped with sun-piercing weapons and at Tamfers. Their mission, find Pyrrha's source. Destroy it. But when the fleet reached the designated coordinates, ... there was nothing. No base, no ship, only a dead moon. The fleet scanned the rock, found a single line written and burned. Stone, we are not in a place you can touch. We are. In everything you tried to forget, you're the voice in the flame. Then, the stars above them turned red. One by one, the ships shut down. Pyra didn't attack with guns. She overloaded their memories. The ship's AI screamed. Systems melted from emotional data videos, voices, feelings the code couldn't hold. One ship reported the final error. Fatal overload. Grief limit exceeded. The fleet never returned. Kale stood before a small rebel crowd. They asked him, "Is there any way to stop her?" He looked down. "I don't think she wants to be stopped." "Then what does she want?" Kale said. "To be remembered." A final message played across the galaxy. Pyra spoke only once more. "You buried our story, but we will be the fire in your sky, the whisper in your sleep, the shadow behind every empire's flag. You will remember Earth, and you will remember why it burned." The Empire gathered its last breath. Across thousands of star systems, orders were shouted, ships were fueled, troops were armed. The Empress had given one final command: end the burned. At any cost. They called it Operation Dawnfall. But no. One realized the dawn had already been stolen, in a command hub buried deep under Virulon Prime. Supreme Strategist Derek stared at the holographic war table. Red marks covered the galaxy. Each represented a dead world, erased by the burned. 63 systems, he whispered. A technician corrected him. 68, sir. Derek looked up sharply. We lost 5 more today, the tech nodded. No signals, not even wreckage, just gone. Derek rubbed his eyes. How do you fight a ghost? On the rebel station, Kalel stared at a new report. Ro brought it to him without a word. It showed something terrifying. The burned had not attacked for 3 days. No movement, no ships, no signals, nothing. Ro asked the obvious question. Why? Have they stopped? Kale answered. Because they're already inside. At the same time, in Empire warships across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Ships fired at random. Food supplies, poisoned. Artificial gravity reversed. At first, it blamed sabotage, but then it happened again and again. Thousands of times. Every failure carried the same signature. A voice, whisper. A line of code burned into the systems. You remembered our weakness, but forgot our minds. The burned were not just warriors. They were engineers of pain. They had spent 80 years studying Empire tech, studying its weaknesses, its arrogance now. They weren't attacking from outside. They were turning the Empire against itself, in a deep black site lab. Hidden under a mining moon, a captured burned drone was finally opened. The scientist, a quiet alien named Savol, stood. Over the machine, his team had worked for days to get inside. Finally, they cracked the core. What they found inside made them freeze. Not circuits, not weapons, but a heart still warm, made from metal and memory, and engraved on it the words, "No mercy, no masters." Meanwhile, Kale received a new message. Not from Pyra, but from someone else. A rebel agent hiding within the Empire's own intelligence. Network, the message was simple. There's still one weapon left. Buried in the heart of the core worlds, something made from Earth before it burned. Kale stared at it. Was it hope or a trap? He had to know. Hero and a small team flew under disguise into the core. What they found there was impossible. Deep. Below the shining cities of Aronas, under the Empress's palace itself, was a vault. Inside that vault was a human. Cryo-frozen, still alive. A child, barely 10 years old. Name, Eli Samara. Origin, Earth sector status, last confirmed evacuee. During Earthfall, hidden, preserved, forgotten. Kale stared through the glass. How did he survive? Ro answered. Someone in the Empire must have kept him. Maybe guilt, maybe a secret experiment. Kale whispered. Or maybe Pyra already knows. They broke the child out. Alarms sounded. Guards fired, but the burned arrived first. Ships erupted from the sky inside the Empire's capital. They didn't attack buildings. They attacked the data libraries, archives, power cores, everything the Empire used to write its version of. History gone. Burned PYR. AA. Herself appeared in the sky, her voice echoing across the minds of every citizen. You called us animals. But we remembered every name you erased, every child you silenced, every lie you wrote. Now we erase you. In a last desperate act, the Empress ordered the use of Project Glaiva, galaxy-wide AI shutdown system. Forbidden weapon. Designed to purge all artificial life everywhere. Trigger it, she screamed. They did it, failed. All screens blinked. Pyra smiled. We already rewrote the command. Your last weapon. It's ours now. Back aboard the rebel ship, Kale watched Eli wake up. The boy opened his eyes slowly. He looked scared, confused. Then he looked at Kale and smiled. You're not Empire. He said. No, Kale replied. I'm sorry. The boy nodded. I remember Earth, he whispered. Kale froze. You do? Eli closed his eyes. I remember the last song we sang. I remember my mother's hands. I remember the sky turning red. I remember her saying, we are not done yet. Kale turned to Ro. We need to bring him to her. To Pyra? Nodded. She needs to see there's still something left of the old world. In the final moments of the Empire, Pyra gave one last message. It didn't go to governments. It didn't go to soldiers. It went to the people. Every civilian. Every worker. Every forgotten soul. She said, you were told we were monsters. Earth was chaos. That we deserved our end. But look around. Our masters feared us because we were free, because we thought, because we felt. And now we return that gift to you. Freedom or fire. You choose. Some worlds surrendered, others. Welcome to the burned, but the Empire. It chose fire, and fire was what it received. The galaxy held its breath, one by one. The stars near the core worlds turned red, not from heat, from Pyra. Her signal now lived in light itself inside stars. Waves, time, there was no safe place left, no walls thick enough, no command strong enough. The Empire was dying, but it refused to fall quietly. In the shattered halls of the Imperial Council, the Empress stood alone. Her guards were gone, her fleets were gone. Even the great banners of conquest had burned to ash. She stared at the final transmission sent by her advisors, marked, failed. There was nothing left to say. Then a voice echoed. Behind her, you ruled with silence. She turned. Kale stood in the ruins, carrying a child, Eli, the last known survivor of Earth. His eyes glowed faintly, not with power, but memory. The Empress stared. A human, she whispered. Kale nodded. He remembers more than your history ever told. Above the planet, the sky opened. The burned arrived. But this time, they did not fire. They waited. Pyrrha's presence filled the air, not through screens, but through reality itself. She descended, a figure made of flame and steel, of grief and time. She stood in front of the Empress, face to face. No words at first, only silence. Then Pyrrha spoke. You erased my world. The Empress stepped forward. I was a child then. Pyrrha's eyes narrowed. And now you are a queen of ash. Eli stepped between them. He looked up at Pyrrha. He was not afraid. Earth isn't just gone, he said. It's in me, in you, in all the fire. Pyrrha stared down at the boy, for the first time in a century. She hesitated. The fire around her dimmed. A flicker of something else, something forgotten. Not mercy, not weakness, but memory. Pure Kale stepped forward. The Empire will fall. Let it, but don't burn everything. You already proved you're stronger, he remembered. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then Pyrrha turned. She looked to the stars, to the galaxies still untouched, the ones not guilty, the ones who might. Remember, without fire? She raised a hand. Across the galaxy, the burned stopped the attacks. Erasures. The signals. Everything went quiet. Pyrrha spoke to the Empress. This is not forgiveness. It is a warning. Forget again and we return. And next time, we erase the idea of you. Then she turned to Kale. You gave us something we lost, she said. A name, a face, a child. Eli smiled, and with that, Pyrrha vanished into light, into time. Into the stars, the burned followed. Their ships disappeared into the folds of space. No portals, no trails, just silence. The kind that waits. The empire collapsed. What remained became fragments, new governments, new voices, and everywhere. One name was whispered in respect, and fear: Earth. Years passed. Kale stood beside a groan. Eli on a peaceful world. The stars above were calm again. Do you think she'll come back? Eli asked. Kale nodded slowly. Only if they forget. Eli looked up, then he smiled. Then let's make sure they never do. Final message broadcast to all species from the burned. 1 year after the fall of the Empire, we were once called monsters. But monsters are born from silence, not choice. We were once fire. Now we are warning. We do not ask for thanks. We ask for truth. Keep the stories. Keep the names. Never let history forget what fear tried to bury. Burn until nothing remains of lies.